Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Ghosts Talks. And today we're actually going to be focusing on the Xbox One. And this is pretty much, we're going to talk about where I feel that everything can improve, where is it strong at, and my feelings on the Xbox. Okay, so I actually want to bring into light some good things and some bad things that I found out with the Xbox One from launch till now. Because if you guys didn't notice, I had the Xbox One. I'd gotten it for Christmas, so I've had fairly amount of time to actually play the games. So let's get down to some of the good things. So the first thing that I wanted to actually talk about, which I find to be one of the best features that the Xbox One has, and this is besides the television stuff. The next thing that we'll talk about is the television, so don't worry. Is the app support. Now, I know a lot of people may actually say that this is kind of stupid and irrelevant, but I actually think that this was pretty much genius. Where you have a cell phone, or you have a tablet, or even I have a Windows 8 laptop now, and I can actually control my Xbox through that. And it's the basic features of the of the Xbox controller just laid out kind of really weird. And through that, you can actually set, well, I want to go to, let's say, Netflix. I can go through Netflix on my phone, and it changes on the television screen without actually turning on the controller and just waiting there or doing voice commands. So I just think that this was really, really, really good on their part. Could have been better, but it was really, really, really solid. Next thing that I wanted to talk about is the TV options. And this is pretty much just, how they were focusing on the television aspects of everything. Where it was, you can do voice commands, you can change the channel. All that stuff is perfect. Perfect. I have my cable box, which is Time Warner, connected to it. And from there, I can actually do my voice commands and turn the stuff on, turn them off, do all this stuff. There are some hiccups. I'm not gonna lie. There are some hiccups within the Kinect's voice commands, but it's not really that I've seen so far where it just doesn't work. It works, I would say, 95% of the time, and the 5% that it doesn't work, the TV is usually too loud. So if you guys actually have the Kinect, which I have mine, is actually under the Xbox, and I'm going to probably show a screenshot of it. It's under it, but it's right next to the speakers. Now, that usually the 5% of the time where it doesn't listen to me. But I've turned on my Xbox from there. I've actually changed the channel. There was about 2 days where I was just in bed, and I would actually use the voice commands to pretty much work the whole thing. Not that bad, huh? Which now would segue into our last item that I actually like, and it's the Kinect itself. Now, I know there are so many people, and there is so many people that actually cannot stand the Kinect, and I just don't understand why. I was a fan of the first Kinect. I was a fan of a lot of their games. Not the Rareware games, the actual games. Shoot, I even like Star Wars Kinect. So it's really, really mind-boggling of the stuff that they actually tweaked and they've added into the Kinect. Especially being, I would have to say, I believe there's only one camera lens on there. And for it to be about 15 times better than the first Kinect, that is really saying something. Because, it actually now can do fingers. It can actually recognize you when you turn sideways. It can recognize you pretty much doing pretty much everything. I know that it does have some flaws. Yes, everyone's aware of this. It does have its flaws with recognizing and stuff like this. And just because everybody didn't like the first Kinect, I think coming into this, they really don't like this Kinect. But it's like comparing apples to oranges. There is no comparison which one is actually better. And I just really, really like the design of it. more than I did the first one. And that's only because the first one stands on like this little, I would say like stem, and it is really, really, really delicate. It's kind of embarrassing because, you know, if you put any like little bit of weight on it, even if you like pick it up, it feels like it's going to snap. That's not what you want with a product that you spent $100 on, or I think it was $150 when it first came out. Don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, I'll have somewhere on the screen. But, you know, I really do like this Connect. I really do like most of the options. Okay, so let's actually talk about the stuff that Microsoft can improve on the Xbox One. And I hope that they actually address or try to fix towards the future. First one, what we're going to talk about is the operating system, or the OS. And if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, let me express to you how much I really, really, really hate Windows 8. It is the worst operating system ever, because it's based on apps. And if you guys have ever experienced Android, apps don't shut off in the background. You have to manually force them to shut off. Even if you X them out, they're still running. Now, this is a complete problem. I was playing Titanfall on the Xbox One, and I was like, okay, I'm done with it. Boom. I get out, I go to Netflix, and I watch. I watch Netflix. The next morning, because I watched the whole night, pretty much. And when I came back to the Xbox and I went back to Titanfall, Titanfall was still in the position that I had it in. So the game had never really turned off. Now, Microsoft, that is a really, really, really bad thing to do. I understand that, you know, some people want to just jump back into the game. I understand this, but with an OS like this, where, you know, you're performing multiple tasks, you're putting your processor through so much that it actually can limit how much more stuff that you can do. I don't know fully how the operating system works, because obviously Microsoft doesn't give any information on their operating system nor the code. But I figure that it does the same thing as Android. So, me being an Android programmer, I would figure that the more apps you open, the more likely the older apps are going to are going to turn themselves off. That's all fine and dandy on a cell phone. Okay, cool. But now, you know, Android has come to a realization, and a lot of OS patches and fixes and updates where they close a lot faster. On Xbox One, they need to close when I get out of them. I would love for that to be the case on the laptop, but they really need to close on the Xbox One. I feel that this is going to lead to a lot more red rings this generation, because we already know that it's a lot of ventilation on the Xbox One, and the Xbox 360. Its main reason it would catch red rings from pretty much almost everybody that I've talked to and all this stuff is overheating. And I guarantee that they made this one a lot more gave it a lot more vents, because they are afraid it's going to overheat and we're going to have a backlash of what happened with the 360. Now, if you're running multiple apps, this is going to lead to it. No matter how much ventilation that you have on it, that is going to play a factor. And it's not going to be really pretty. It's not. So let's get to topic 2. This one is a no-brainer, and this is just the lack of first-party support. I know Microsoft isn't the most first-party heavy company in the world, but it's kind of hurting, because this is the same thing that they say every time with the Wii U, that there's no games, there's no lack of third party. Well, now what happens when there's no lack of first party? We're going to have, obviously, the third party. It's a no-brainer with the Xbox and PlayStation 4. We're going to have tons and tons and tons of first party. But the reason I say no lack of first party is because you're pretty much telling everybody, hey, you paid $500, you paid $400 for the console, and $100 for the Kinect. But right now we only have, what, I would say one game that's actually focused heavily on the Kinect. There's a problem there. Because now everybody is looking at this Kinect, and I've seen it multiple times, everyone dislikes this Kinect because of that. I'm not saying I dislike the Kinect, because I said previously, I really do adore this Kinect. And I'm really into motion gaming. But I just feel that with more support for the Kinect and showing off more functionality and more stuff that you can actually do with it, it's going to be a real good success down the long run. And I'm one of those people that I want the Kinect to succeed. I want motion gaming to be a standard on gaming consoles. Shoot, I wanted to play Resident Evil and actually feel like I'm in Resident Evil playing with motion controls. I want to get to the point where we can play Halo on motion controls. I'm not a big first-person shooter fan, but I want to play first-person shooters on it. I think that that would be a lot better. Even if I have to buy a peripheral like the PlayStation Move, for example, I believe that we can slowly adopt this as the medium and the majority of gaming, where even if it has to be half and half, you know, half regular gaming with the controller standard, or just another half where it's all motion, this would be fine. Or even they would find some way to cross both of them, because on PlayStation they've done this sort of, but that's for another video. Okay, so now let's get to our third topic, the lack of backwards capability. Now, this one, I see this as one of the biggest problems that the 360 has. Hands down, this was the worst thing that the 360 and the PlayStation 3 did. And this was the lack of backwards capability. Now, I understand that they want you to keep the console and they want you to keep the games. I don't sell any of my consoles. I don't get rid of any of my games unless they're completely totaled and I can't play them anymore. But even when some games like that, I still keep, because it's a momentum. It's pretty much just a memory of when I had the game and how much fun I had with the game, and then I'll find some way of getting the game back. But with the Xbox One not being backwards compatible and being targeted as a console that really can't hit more than some sub HD generation, I think that if you slowly start to get back with having the 360 games on there, people would actually overlook the fact that it only hits 990 or 980 or whatever sub HD that the Xbox One pushes. And even with that, like, if I didn't have to take out the 360 every single time I wanted to play one of the games, I would be more enthusiastic to buy older games that I don't have anymore. Even if I had to pay, I would say $10. That's the most that I would pay for it, for some type of patch that would allow me to play those games on there. I think that it should have been a standard on the console already, but if for some odd reason I have to pay at least $10 to play these older games, I think that we have a right as consumers and as supporters to possibly get this working. I don't know about you guys, but that's the way that I just feel. And with that being said, that was pretty much all that I needed to say about the Xbox and just what I feel that they can improve on better while going forward. But if I forgot anything, or if you guys actually thought of something that I didn't say in this video, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe because it helps out a bunch. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter because I post a lot of crazy stuff you guys might want to keep up on.